So we're here with Jackson Hinkle from The Dive. Jackson the Hair Hinkle is here, ladies and gentlemen, and there is the hair. Now, the reason why we have Jackson on is because he's run into a bit of bad luck. Jackson Hinkle got suspended from Twitter today. Here's Primo Radico says Elon Musk's free speech platform has now suspended both Garland Nixon, friend of the show, and Jackson Hinkle. What did Hinkle do to get suspended for? I know Garland's tweet was BS and unjustified, but I've seen some of Hinkle's that does antagonistically push buttons. Now, you know the First Amendment doesn't cover free speech if you are being antagonistic.
That's first-degree button pushing, and it's against the law.
First-degree button pushing is not covered.
It's not absolute.
That's right.
Jackson Hinkle from The Dive.
You can't make fun of Ryan Graham, that's for sure.
What I said was this tweet antagonistically pushes my button and demand you be suspended from social media. How dare you?
What did you say?
I said good day. So what did you get fucking suspended for, Jackson?
I really don't know. I got an email this morning. It said 5:45 a.m., too early for me to wake up. And I saw it. It was like manipulation and spam rules were violated. Therefore, we've decided to take the measure of banning your account permanently. So I have no real recourse that I can take. But it's disappointing because, as you know, Elon promised that he was going to try and bring us some semblance of free speech to the platform. But now people left and right are getting banned. It's not just me. It's not just Garland Nixon. I mean, Scott Ritter was taken down, and many others have been taken down since Elon has, been in control. Obviously, Kanye West got taken down for things that he said I don't agree with. But at the end of the day, if you're not doing direct threats of violence, if you're not doing fraud or slander or libel, why are you going to be taking people down? It just doesn't make sense.
Just because we don't like that. So it's okay to fund Nazis. It's just not okay to say you like them.
Who did you spam manipulate is what I want to know.
So they said you manipulated spam. You manipulated, what did they say? Could you give me the direct quote? I think you sent it to me. I'll read it.
Yes, the direct quote. I have it in my email right here. They have like rules on manipulation in spam that essentially try to prevent people from doing like bot behavior, like what the DNC does and what NAFO does. And, they all still remain up, but
you violated Twitter's rules on manipulation and spam.
What would you
manipulation? What does that even mean, manipulation?
What was the last thing you tweeted before you got that message? You don't have any idea what it could be?
Well, this week I had two very viral tweets about the hypocrisy. Again, I don't stand with what Kanye said, but the hypocrisy of Elon Musk banning Kanye West over the wild stuff he was saying about, Jewish people and Nazis. But then the Azov Battalion itself, the Nazi Azov Battalion from Ukraine, still has their Twitter account up. What is that? It's complete hypocrisy. So I made a point of that, and it went super viral, and I was making fun of Elon Musk. And then, a day later, I find myself banned.
Okay, remind me not to. I just wanted to ask to know what not to do.
I know, so I'm not. I was.
You mean the celebrated Azov Battalion? Yeah, I've been tweeting about what a great job they're doing, and maybe these cabs could pull over and pick them up. These war heroes come back. They can't get a cab. They keep going right by. They're in the middle of a parade. They can't hail a cab.
Can't get a cab. They just like, hey, they're like, hey.
It's shameful.
So, well, you're taking this well. Have you tried to make another account? Like, will you get grounded if you do? Will they make you come in for a detention if you try to make another account?
Right now, I'm just sitting back and, the interesting thing about Elon, obviously, is that he's in an effort to drive engagement. He's very, very engaged himself on Twitter with average users. As you know, he just did this big Twitter files dump with Matt Taibbi. You're talking about that today. And Matt's been very generous in his coverage of, my censorship, other people's censorship. So I reach out to a bunch of people. We'll see what we can do. But the problem, again, even if I get unbanned, the problem isn't really me. The problem is that this guy said he bought this for $44 billion, saying he was going to bring free speech to the platform. And what has he done? He's continued the censorship and continued, the allowing for the promotion of narratives that the deep state wants to be promoted. That's why we had this COVID scam go on for as long as it did, because they suppressed anyone who challenged the official narratives. And on top of that, maybe Elon unbanned Jordan Peterson. So we got Jordan Peterson back, and nothing else really changed.
Yeah, so I don't think he's unbanned the doctors. Has he unbanned
No.
Dr. McCullough? Has he unbanned Dr. Malone? Has he unbanned Julian Assange? So I think all his free speech was bullshit. And I at the beginning I had my fingers crossed, but as soon as I realized it was pointed out to me that he's never mentioned Julian Assange and that he has all these contracts with the military-industrial complex, and I was like, oh yeah, that's what am I? I was dumb to think that this guy, I mean, he might bring a modicum of some kind of free speech, but it's not, believe me, if Pfizer pulled their advertisements on Twitter, and the next day, Elon and Twitter said, you can say whatever you want about COVID policy and the vaccines. We're not going to censor that anymore. Well, that has to do with money. That has to do with the principle of free speech then, does it? No. So Elon's a billionaire. You don't get to be a billionaire by helping people. You get to be a billionaire by rigging systems and crushing people. And so his idea of free speech, it's a marketing tool. That's what it seems like to me, because he's not. If he was serious about it, the first thing he would have done was reinstate Julian Assange. He won't even mention him.
He did mention him actually yesterday. So Kim.com asked Elon on a Twitter space, what do you think about pardoning Julian Assange and Edward Snowden? And he said, I don't know. I don't know enough about them. I can't really say. I don't know what should happen. And then Kim said, well, why don't you ask your own users what they think? So Elon did a poll. Do you guys support pardoning Julian Assange and Edward Snowden? Out of the 3.3 million people who voted, 81% said that they supported pardoning Julian Assange and Edward Snowden.
But that's not binding, and he didn't say he was going to implement it. He just said, I'll do a poll.
Mm-hmm. No, I just think it's an interest. That's not a positive reflection of Elon. I think if anything, that's a negative reflection on it. But I think it's cool that we got that poll and know that many people, more than ever before, support that.
Tip of the hat to Kim.com for getting us to get that poll. So now we know at least we could throw that in Elon's face. But that's all we're going to be able to do, I think. And, and here you are, and they won't even tell you why you got that. So this censorship is not over, ladies and gentlemen. The establishment is still censoring, okay? They just might not be censoring around certain things, but like trans issues and things like that. But they're going to be censoring around stuff like foreign wars and murder, stuff like that.
I guess you're allowed to, like, if you like me think there's only 75 genders and not 350, you'll be allowed to say that.
You'll be allowed to say that. If you're the kind
of conservative who thinks it's only 75.
So, did anybody bring up Garland Nixon to him? Like, Garland Nixon has awards from the NAACP for doing civil rights work, and he's a former cop.
He used to do great work. He's really fallen low. He used to. Guy used to be great.
I don't know what happened to him. Wow, he's really lost it. Well, Jackson, hopefully this video will be seen by Elon Musk. I know he watches, and we'll get this turned around.
Hopefully.
I wanted to try to look more serious covering this today, so I didn't color my hair. I hope you noticed that. My hair I got the gray going.
It looks great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Reminds me of mine.
Jackson's hair from the future came back to warn him. Don't tweet those spam manipulations.
You spam-apulator. Hey, we're doing live stand-up comedy in Los Angeles, December 9th, 16th, 23rd, and 30th. And we're going to be in Tempe, Milwaukee, Minneapolis, Nashville. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for all those tickets. See you there.